But many individuals with dissociation of identity also report a history of deliberate abusive training to respond with dissociative behaviors to various cues and signals in a ritualized or circumscribed manner. To give you an example, I recall being in a hospital working with a young woman many years ago, and it wasn't clear whether she was dissociative or not. She met criteria for borderline personality disorder, and she had a history of being repeatedly exploited by males. And she really didn't understand it, what was happening and why. At that time, I was using music to cause clients to dissociate in session. And so I played a particular piece of music, and this woman went back to a time that she enacted when she had been a child and had been used for sexually explicit photography. So she actually became that person. Now, the problem for that woman was that in her everyday life, this was sometimes happening. She would become a child alter, and she thought that her job in that state was to be sexually available to whatever person seemed to be there. So this was obviously a very harmful kind of behavior for her own well-being, and it was something that needed to be worked with. But this is an example of situations where a particular individual may have been taught in a dissociated state to enact behaviors that are not in their best interest. In some cases, self-destructive behaviors. One will hear a history of self-destructive behaviors that were taught that way. You'll have a client who may say, I have a particular alter or series of them that come out to do harm at certain times. So this is a common report that many clinicians do hear. And so this is something we need to be mindful of, and because not all theories of DID encompass this kind of thinking. And many extreme abuse survivors do report experiences of abuse that include being trained to dissociate, to deepen dissociation, and assume different identities with different jobs and beliefs. And some people, some survivors, some therapists call this process programming. But there are different terms. We don't have a concise language that we all agree to use. So you'll notice that different clinicians will use slightly different language, and also survivors will too.